Hi everyone. It's Sunday today. Sorry, I forgot on yesterday's video I said it was Sunday, but today is actually Sunday. Yesterday when I did all my food shopping, it was Saturday. But since it's Sunday, it's another meal prep day. I just came out of the shower, so I'm just gonna go and do all my meal prep. As I mentioned many times, I'm doing chickpea and kale salad for my meal prep this week. I'm making 4 batches of it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday I'm just going to eat whatever. So I will get on and show you my meal prep. So I'm starting my meal prep a day early because I got these dried chickpeas and I need to get them to soak. So I calculated that I need about an ounce of dried chickpeas per lunch meal, and I'm making 4 of these, which means I need 4 ounces. So I'm going to measure that out and put them in this container with some water and some bicarb of soda. So this is 4 ounces of chickpeas. It doesn't actually look like very much, like it's on one layer, so I think even when it expands it'll just be a bit bigger than that. Since the chickpeas are going to be my only carb, I think I'm going to top this up a little bit, and the reason why I'm weighing it out is because I'm trying to figure out how to equally split the amount of final chickpeas I make. So I need to make sure that I've got a number that I can divide by 4 to figure out how much I need to put in each container. Okay, so I ended up with 7 ounces of chickpeas, and I put about a teaspoon of bicarb of soda, and then I topped it up with quite a lot of water, about 3 times as much water. So I'm just going to check these out, leave them to soak as much as possible, and then they'll take about an hour and a half to cook after that. So I'm going to leave these until tomorrow morning, so that'll be a 24-hour soak, and then cook them tomorrow morning with the rest of my meal prep. So my chickpeas have been soaking for overnight now, so the next day, and look how much they've grown. They've almost taken up all of the water. So I'll just show you what it looks like inside. So what you need to do is just rinse this out really well, and then you can put it into a pot and start cooking it for about 40 minutes to an hour until they become tender. And you just test them to see if they're tender. Like, you should be able to chew them and they're not like super hard. Like, if you tried to chew these now, they'd be rock solid in your mouth and I feel like they're going to break your teeth off. So my chickpeas are in the pot, and I also put a clove of garlic in there just for flavour, so I don't have to use very much garlic for my kale salad. And the other thing I forgot to mention is when you put it in the pot, don't put any salt in. This is true for all beans and lentils. Apparently the salt prevents the beans or lentils from actually softening, so it's best to wait until they're tender and then salt the water halfway through the process, or a much later stage of the process, or even after they finish cooking. So I've got in quite a lot of beans there. Chickpeas are done. They're really soft now. I can squish them. Oh, they're still quite hot. They're really soft, so I'm just leaving them to cool, but while they're still warm like this, I'm going to season them. Remember, I didn't put any salt in the cooking liquid, so I'm going to put some Himalayan pink salt and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and maybe some dried thyme in here, and that would be my chickpea part of my salad all done. So for my chicken, I've got some spices here. I'm using some pink Himalayan sea salt, some sumac, and crushed red chili peppers, and then some basil and some rosemary. And I'm going to marinate this in olive oil for a short while, and then I'm going to grill it. What I normally do to grill these, because they're quite thick, is I slice them in half, and then I have a much thinner piece of meat that I can use for grilling. So I'll show you. Here's my chicken. I've cut them in half. It's not precisely halfway. It's about 2/3 of the way that you start to cut it, and then you don't cut all the way through. You kind of like slice it open like you're opening a book, and then it opens out, and you've got these much thinner pieces of chicken. They're still quite thick in some areas, so I'm going to try doing it for 8 minutes on each side underneath the grill setting in the oven, which is that. Chicken is halfway cooked, so you can see it's got some brown bits, and now it's time to turn it over. So here's my chicken. It's all done on both sides, and I'm just going to leave it to cool for a bit, and then I'm going to chop it up into slices ready to put in my salad. For the kale, I have washed it. Like I said, I've never used this Russian red kale before, and when you taste it, it is a bit bitter. So I'm just trying a bit now. It is a bit bitter. It's very green, quite tough. So I'm going to massage these in olive oil, and then I'm going to do a quick saute of them with some salt and pepper, and just keep it quite simple. And then at the end, sprinkle some lemon juice over the top, and I think that would be quite nice for the salad. So I'm just working through these. I've still got the second batch to go. Quite a lot of kale. Okay, so I massaged my kale in some olive oil and salt, and as you can see, it's like literally reduced by half. And I tried it and it seemed to be much less bitter, and then I put the lemon in, and it's just delicious now. It's like really broken down the structure of the leaves, and so it's actually a lot tastier. Tastes like kale. So when I say massage, I literally mean like really massaging it. Like, you know, when the hairdresser comes and gives you like a head massage and massages your hair, that's what you need to do to the kale to really break down the structure and make it wilt in the olive oil and the salt. But anyways, so my kale's done, my chickpeas are done, and my chickens are done. They just need to be chopped up, so I am going to do that and then put them into my Tupperware, and then you can see the final product. This is how I do my meal prep. I've got my Tupperware on my scale, and it's evened out to 0, and then I'm going to put in I'm going to go with about 80 grams of kale. There we go, 80 grams of kale, and then I'm going to go with some chickpeas. I'm going to go maybe do about 80 grams of chickpeas. That's 80 grams. Does that look like enough chickpeas? I think so. Let's do 90 grams of chickpeas. There we go, 90 grams of chickpeas. And then finally on the top, I'm just going to spread that around. I'm going to put in my chicken. So I'm just going to even out the scale so I can see how much chicken I'm actually getting. Right, chicken. So that's a whole breast, about 111 grams. Okay, so I will keep doing this, and then I will post the macros by this right here, and then you can see how much I'm eating per day. So here is the final product. It looks quite beige at the moment, but you can see there's quite a lot of green kale underneath, and I did just plug everything into my Fitness Pal, so I've got the macros. I estimated about 5 ml of olive oil per box, because I wasn't really sure, like I didn't actually put a huge amount of olive oil in the kale because I washed it in water obviously and put some salt in, so you didn't need that much oil. And I did put a tiny bit of oil, but it was only about 10 ml into the chickpeas. So I figured about 5 ml is a good estimation of how much like olive oil I have in all of it, and that works out to be 10 grams of fat. So this is my meal prep for the week. It's quite lean. It's somewhat low carb because I'm still trying to cut, and I'm having one of those rice cakes which has some more carbs in it, and obviously my pro oats when I go for my workout. So, and quite a carb heavy breakfast with my green smoothie. As a snack during the week while I'm at work, because I do get really hungry, I am making some egg and cress mayonnaise that I will have on one of these rice cakes. So I'm planning on like having maybe one, maybe two rice cakes, depending on how much egg mayo I make from this. So these eggs have already been boiled. I'm just going to peel them now, put some salt and pepper, and a tiny bit of homemade mayonnaise, which has been made with olive oil. So here's a product of my egg mayonnaise and cress. The egg ended up being a little softer than I expected, but it still tastes really nice. It's like more like a hollandaise-y sauce now when you put a little bit of lemon in. It's really delicious, and I'll be putting that in the fridge and taking it to work with me and spooning it onto these. That is going to be amazing, isn't it?